ESPN's live coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with the Pure Michigan 400 today from the Michigan International Speedway. You see Greg Biffle choosing to start on the outside lane as the field comes to the 1 to go signal, green flag, next time by. Kenyatta Houston changed tires on Kevin Harvick's winning truck yesterday here at Michigan. He's our over-the-wall reporter today, changing tires for David Gilliland. Have a safe day down there, Kenyatta. We appreciate you carrying our onboard camera. And some final stories from pit road before the green flag. We begin with David Burns. Dave?
Alan, what will the right strategy be today for Dale Earnhardt Jr., ninth in the points, still without a win in the 2011 season? Remember, last week they achieved their goal of a top 15. Not the most glorious way to leave the Glen, yet they moved ahead in the points. This weekend, their driver and their car much more competitive. Their starting spot much improved. So today, their goals are higher, and if they can achieve them, then they can only help Jr. in his race to the chase. Vince Welch?
Well, as the chase nears, Tony Stewart has yet to score his first victory, and he sits 10th in points, just 25 points ahead of 11th place Clint Bowyer. Now, crew chief Darian Grubb's going to be keeping an eye on Bowyer and 9th place Dale Earnhardt Jr. today. Remember, only the top 10 in points get in. If you don't have a win, it's the race within the race here at Michigan today. Jamie Little?
Well, when it comes to chase hopes, Greg Biffle is on the outside looking in. He's 13th. But a win today could change all of that. In the next 4 races leading up to the chase cutoff, this is the only track he's won at. Now today he starts on the pole, and you couple that with Jack Roush's dominance at this racetrack, 11 wins. He looks good for today. Dr. Punch.
Well, sitting 18th in points with just 4 races remaining before the chase begins, Mark Martin knows he probably needs to win a race to have a shot at a wild card spot. You know, Mark has been very good at this track over the years, and in fact, in his 30 years as a Sprint Cup racing, he has 40 victories. 5 of those have come here. Maybe the numbers line up today for Mark. He starts 5th in car number 5, and oh, by the way, this may be his 5th and final chance to be in the chase as a full-time NASCAR Sprint Cup driver. Alan?
Doc, thanks. Pace car is off. 200 laps around the 2-mile track. The Pure Michigan 400 is underway. Fanning out.
Didn't waste any time. Paul Menard, you can see, make a dive to make it 3 wide there. Casey Kane went to the high side. He told me last night his car really was good up on the top part of the racetrack.
It seems like that's where Casey Kane likes to run, and he can carry that momentum and use it to his advantage better than most.
Greg Biffle leads lap 1. Matt Kenseth slides up in front of Denny Hamlin in second. Single file for a minute, back through about the first 10. Just until they get to those corners. There's David Ragan dropping down to make it 3 wide.
It's such a fun racetrack because you just have so many different lanes that you can choose, see if your car works there. As we see Dale Earnhardt Jr. right on the bottom. Most of the drivers I talked with, though, say that's not the preferred line. You might get away with it down in 3 and 4. First few laps of a run with fresh tires. After that, you're going to have to move up.
Yeah, the problem with running on that bottom side is that by the time you get off the corner, you have to use all the racetrack all the way to the wall, and that's where everybody is. So it does pinch your car down low if you try to run down there, especially when you got all this traffic.
See Tony Stewart all the way at the bottom of the racetrack in that 14 when he crossed the start-finish line. The car jumping. There's that little bump in the track at the very lowest part of this front stretch, created from where they did some renovations to the under-track pedestrian tunnel a couple years ago. This racetrack to be repaved starting Tuesday. But you'll see the guys that go all the way to the bottom of this front stretch having to hop that little bump there just past the start-finish line.
Yeah, these drivers were telling me it'll give you a jolt inside the car. You have to be ready and prepared for it right then.
Alan, there's caution on the track.
Dave, thanks. Debris in turn number 1 has brought out the first caution of the race, and those green flag pit stops have just turned into caution flag pit stops, and probably for a lot of these teams just in the nick of time.
I promise you, there's some drivers that want some adjustments that they wouldn't have been able to get on a green flag stop.
Maybe you were thinking like maybe Denny Hamlin.
Denny's struggling there. He dropped back to 10th Lap times are off quite a bit, so I'm sure that Mike Ford and that crew will be making some major adjustments on that 11 car.
So first caution of the race comes out 29 laps in. Quick update, 6 cars have gone to the garage. Tony Raines, Todd Bodine, David Stremme, Joe Nemechek, Mike Skinner, J.J. Yaley. Only 2 cars not on the lead lap, Ken Schrader and David Gilliland. And the pit road's going to be open this time, and first time for these crews to stretch their legs out.
Yeah, they'll be slinging tires and wedge wrenches. You see one right there. Matt Kenseth's team getting ready to make an adjustment.
And most crucial thing, get it full of fuel.
Absolutely, got to get it full of fuel.
Yeah, nice big pit stalls here too that you can get in, so not a lot of problems there getting in and out of your pit as a driver.
Okay, pit road is open. Matt Kenseth should hit first among the leaders. Dave?
He is the very first pit stall off of turn number 4. There will be a track bar adjustment, air pressure out to the right front to help that car actually turn a little bit better. Dr. Punch?
22 car, Brad Kenseth. Kurt Busch, by the way, in, saying the car is very tight, entering the corner under load, air pressure change. They're also going to make a track bar adjustment right rear. Jamie?
Brad Keselowski, upper right-hand side. Remember, new rule change. The fuel man cannot make changes on the left rear side of the car. They've had to mix it up. The 16 of Greg Biffle, air pressure adjustment right rear, clean stop. Down and away, the team gets the job done, Alan.
There was some mixing it up going on in the middle of that pack on pit road, but our Coke race off pit road. It's going to be Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth coming off pit road in the first and second spots. And we'll come back for the restart in just a minute in the Pure Michigan 400. Yeah, the Biff by that much. Third and fourth. Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch.
I'm watching Brad. He was making some time early in the race up on the top. Now he's trying the bottom. Probably because we have new tires on right now, and he's taking advantage of that grip level, and he can use the racetrack. He's not in a bunch of traffic.
00 David Rudiman, 6 David Reagan, 5 Mark Martin. Remember, we showed you in countdown, Rudiman and Reagan with those nasty hits at the end of the Watkins Glen race last week.
Yeah, as we see Kurt Busch go by his teammate there on the right side, but just glad these two drivers are able to be here. They're a lot worse for the wear. They're both beat up and sore, but here getting it done today.
How about the 00 car, Dave?
Yeah, I was going to actually give you the injury update on him, but David Reagan as well, right in front of him now making the pass. Reagan said he was sore this week, but crew chief Drew Blickensderfer said that David Reagan never complained about it, even in a 700-lap test at Martinsville this week for Goodyear. David Rudiman, on the other hand, right behind him, drafting the 00. His left side pretty banged up. He got physical therapy and ice this week. Rudiman said, you know, the ice was the worst part. They just left it on there. Too long.
Now, these two guys are leading, but one of their teammates is behind the wall, Vince.
Carl Edwards is indeed behind the wall, and bad news is sitting here with his helmet off. Carl, as everyone scurries around the car, what's the diagnosis?
I don't know yet. Something broke, but I got my little fan view here, and I'm jealous of Matt and Greg. This is one of the most fun races of the year. We had a lot of folks here from Aflac, from Ford, and this was a race for us to just go out and go for a win. And, you know, something broke, but we're pushing the envelope of everything with the engine and with the pit crew and everything, and we'll get all this stuff worked out for the chase. But I hope we can get back out there just to have some more fun. I love this place.
And we've got a caution on the track right now. Thanks, Carl.
Yeah, Vince, Bobby Labonte with a spin in turn number 2.
Saw a lot of smoke over there. Don't know if he hit anything.
Put tires on it if we can. We got to put tires on it if we can.
See the left front's down for sure there.
It looks good from here. So if they get it down pit road without tearing the fenders off of it, they'll be fine.
Yeah, just got loose getting into the corner right before he got to the center. Back end stepped out. Good wide racetrack, though, allowed him to not gather anybody else up and get it straightened out. Kyle Busch is on the move. He's gotten up against the wall, and that thing's turning, and he's in the gas.
Kyle on the radio to his crew just a little bit ago said this.
R1 better. Thank you. Thanks for helping us out, bud. You're doing a great job.
That's fun. So Kyle up to the number 2 spot and moving there, Vince.
Yeah, and just a moment ago, right after that radio, Kyle said, boy, this ain't bad. And you can always tell by the tone of their voice how happy they are. And that is certainly welcome relief for Kyle Busch because they started the weekend great. Dave Rogers told me we rolled off the truck so fast, and then we tweaked on it a little bit, and it got wrecking loose, and then we couldn't get back to where we started. So they made some changes coming into this race. He said we'll have some adjustability in it. They seem to have hit the sweet spot for Kyle Busch in that 18.
Gotta love that sweet spot.
Yeah, I know. This is one of the guys that got out of the top 10 in points coming in here that has not won at this track. Jimmy Johnson's the other one.
Now that's younger brother. Older brother was up among the top 4 or 5 in the early stages of this race. He has slipped back a little bit, and that car doesn't look as pretty as it did a few laps ago.
Now a little damage to the right side. You see he's still fighting it. It's off of turn 4, but a little while ago down in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That's the danger of running up that high. You get loose, you got nowhere to catch the car.
Yeah, but the wall saved him right there. If he had been down, he would have spun out.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though he's losing some time here, he's still in a relatively good position. He's back in 11th, and he's running about a half a second off the leader, so better to stay out and see if he can time this to pit with everyone else.
And the save of the day so far belongs to A.J. Allmendinger in that 43. Watch this a couple of laps ago coming off the corner. Now watch the black marks the right rear tire of this car leaves.
Whoa, that's sweet, man.
That's at 190 miles an hour.
Still digging.
Look at it. On.
Whoa, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, I got you there. Still all clear. Still 7 back.
That's terrific. See him shaking his head.
Yeah, like I can't believe I just did that. Actually, I don't believe I saved it.
And green flag pit stops. Here we go. Doc, you're with the 5.
We'll have to make one more stop. Mark Martin, left side of your screen, watching the leader, right side. Right side, Kyle Martin had taken only right side the previous time. The car not handling well, still loose on exit. Also on pit road, the 22 car of Kurt Busch. Remember, he bounced it off that turn 1 wall and had to pull the fender out. There's a damage on the right side of the car. He is down and away, just a hit over 15 seconds. Car of Ryan Newman. The car has been very tight all day. They made an adjustment last time, and now it's gotten too loose. Air pressure change, chassis adjustment, 4 tires for Ryan Newman, trying to hang on to a top 10 spot in the point standings. 8th in the points, wanted a solid top 10 finish today. Good pit stop for the 39, 13 seconds. Here's the 14 car, Vince.
Tony Stewart says it's just a little free, center off. They made a 4-tire change for the 14 of Tony Stewart.
48 car in, Jimmy Johnson said the car is not happy at the top of the racetrack, not happy at all. He said, I need a little more help turning in the middle of the corner, but I cannot give up the entry. 4 tires for Jimmy Johnson. Let's check in on the 2 car, Jamie.
And you heard Brad Keselowski saying he's loose now. He felt like he had a flat. He wanted this pit stop. He said he needs drive up and off. 4-tire stop for Brad.
17 car of Kenseth is in. It'll be a 4-tire change. He was still loose. Only air pressure change, so the changes have already been made for Matt.
The 18 car of Kyle Busch says it's just a little snug, center off. They're going to go back up a quarter round on the track bar. A right front air pressure adjustment as well for the 18 of Kyle Busch. Jamie Little.
And you see the high cam there on Jeff Gordon, who gave up the lead. Fill it up with fuel, 4 tires. He was extremely loose as you see him side by side with Kyle Busch. Alan?
And that is going to be the race for the lead out to this exchange of pit stops. Right there, those 3 cars.
Just impressive what Kyle Busch did. He was almost 2 seconds behind Jeff Gordon at the time. Made up a lot of time getting on to pit road, and then his pit crew once again doing a fantastic job, Andy.